Hey, 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 good morning. It is September 30th. Welcome to another episode of Simple Life Philosophy. I am still here, still doing this, still positive. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's keep the vibes up. Today, I want to talk about the best relationship in your life. And I think you know the answer. The best relationship in your life is with yourself. And I really truly believe that, as you get older, especially, you start to kind of learn more about yourself, learn more about, I guess, the identity that you're building, and who you are, what brings you joy, what gets you upset. And I feel like you kind of have to lean into those emotions a little bit to even figure out like what your what your big purpose is, what your big why or meaning or mission in life is. Figure out what makes you really happy, and if you can't really come up with any answers, figure out what really makes you upset. you know, and just write about it. And I think you can kind of figure out, what direction you should go and what deserves your attention, what deserves your focus, and then you continue to develop that, and it's just a good place to start, a good foundation to have. Um, but I also think a big thing that a lot of people just overlook when thinking about themselves, and it's I think it's just like it's almost like a triangle, because it's your mind, it's your spirit, and it's your body, the physical. And you have to take care of all three, to really not only know yourself but to be your best self. um, you have to take care of your physical body. That requires movement. That requires a good diet. That requires good nutrition. You have to take care of your mind. That requires reading. That requires journaling. That requires, being social and talking, talking to people that you resonate with your tribe. Even if it's just like listening on a YouTube, someone like me, just someone that you kind of just resonate with. And um, if it's a podcast or whatever, just to get that a little social, just a little, I don't know, community in your life. I think that's the big one, is community. And then spiritual. Man, I mean, that's kind of big reason why I'm developed this channel, is the spiritual end of it, and to help develop my own spirituality, and kind of figure out what's going on there, because I just feel like I have a lot of room to grow. I've always just leaned into the unseen, the unexplainable, because in a big thing, I think that really it's I kind of took my own advice earlier when I said figure out what makes you upset. What really makes me upset is people that just talk with such certainty about life. And I think a lot of our leaders and politicians are hugely guilty of this. I think a lot of them are probably just mentally not right in the head, and not very spiritually evolved, because they just have giant egos. And I think it's not to say that they don't have my respect, because it does take a lot of work and effort to get to where they are and to lead. But at the same time, I think it's a certain personality type that gets in those positions, that wants those positions, and generally they just have a bit of an ego, a superiority complex, a god complex, whatever you want to call it. And they don't have that equilibrium, between all three phases, between the triangle. Um, but that's something available to you, because I don't think someone like that really will ever be able to, um, really be their best self, because they're going to just be so trapped by their ego. They'll never be able to evolve into their best self. And that's really the goal that I have, is to really, yeah, to be my best self, and um, to offer what I can offer, to humanity. I know it's kind of like some grand goal. Sometimes when I think about it, it almost seems, I don't know, maybe a little bit of hubris to think that I could have, an impact. on the global scale. Um, but at the same time, I shouldn't really look at it that way. I should just try to have an impact locally, and with my own life first. Try to develop that, and then share my story and develop a community, and kind of see where it goes. I think we're all in this together, and I think that if we find enough like-minded individuals, find a collective, use their kind of that hive mind mentality to um, develop and support each other. Uh, I think we can make a real difference, and it's going to take time, and it's going to just probably be one person at a time, but that's the message I kind of want to spread. That's the message that gets me a little energized, and I just want to just help others, and I think for anyone that wants to help others, you have to help yourself first. You have to take care of yourself. I know it's a little bit of selfish, but when I think of selfishness, true selfishness is when you're looking after yourself at the harm of other. You know what I mean? When what you're doing harms other people. And you can look at it as directly or indirectly. Now, granted, some people might try to play to that because maybe you have a significant other and you're like, all right, like I need some time to myself. I need to go to the park, decompress a little bit, get in nature. And they're like, well, you're taking time away from me, and obviously that's a little bit of a toxic relationship that you have there, because I think someone that truly supports you, truly wants to understand you, will allow you that time to kind of regroup, reset, because life is hard, and you kind of need those moments to recalibrate, I guess, and okay, like how was this day, and all right, how can I tackle the next day better? Um, it's just kind of like it really goes back to something I've said before. At the end of each day, I think that you should play back some situations that you think you could have handled better, even maybe ones that you thought you handled well. Like just reimagine them in your mind, and come up with a better scenario, come up with a better way that you could have handled it, and harness that feeling of what it felt like to be that, and I really believe in like manifestation starts with the feeling. I mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza, and then I also want to mention Neville Goddard because a lot of his words have also resonated with me. Um, it's like he talks about the wish fulfilled a lot, where you have to believe the wish is already fulfilled in your heart of hearts, and just the way that you carry yourself, the vibes that you give out, will start attracting those things. So that really resonated with me, and yeah, take care of yourself. If you're feeling low on energy, figure it out. We got some of the best research tools, communication tools in history right now. And you can do a lot of research. If you're not feeling, let's say you feel low energy, it could just be some sort of hormone imbalance, or maybe a mineral deficiency or a vitamin deficiency. Get your blood work. I would say, and I probably should have mentioned this not at the 8:52 mark of this video, but getting your blood work done is probably like one of the best health, talking about the way to figure out how to maintain your physical health, and because then that will point to, oh wow, like all right, I'm short on this hormone. That doesn't mean you have to do hormone replacement therapy or anything like that. It just means maybe you just take a supplement. Maybe taking an iodine supplement will help recalibrate it. And that's where I think we have these tools like ChatGPT and other AI platforms that can help provide you some guidance, and you can trial and error it. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, and my advice is anecdotal to my own life, but I do truly think that can have a huge impact on folks, because especially just with the diet, American diet, I think we all have a lot of gut problems. I've seen studies where people are saying that 90% of us have parasites in our gut, and that's going to create hormone imbalances vitamin mineral deficiencies and such. So I think it's just very important to get your blood work done and kind of figure out where that is, and just find some natural ways to supplement or change your diet to kind of to counter whatever deficiencies you have. But yeah, that would be my number one health advice, and it came late in the video, so I do apologize for that. If you stuck around, thank you so much. Do all the things, and yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you next time. Have a beautiful and wonderful day. Much love. Peace out.